Hello, children. Today I will continue with the second half of the story An Angel in Disguise. In the first half, we came to know that after the death of the mother, the three children were left all alone. But Farmer Jones decided to take John away, and Mrs. Ellis is ready to take Kate with her. But nobody is willing to take Maggie because she is a sick and bedridden child. So, when Joe Thompson, the wheelwright, saw that nobody was willing to take Maggie and that she was all alone in the hut, he decided to take her to his home. But his wife Jane was a very bad tempered lady because she did not have any child of her own. So when Joe brought Maggie home, then she was really very annoyed and she was very angry, and she told her husband to take Maggie to the poorhouse that night itself. Now I will continue the second half of the story. So when his wife Jane told Joe to take Maggie away that night itself, then Joe said to her with an impressive tone that he had read a lot about children in the Bible and how the Savior, Jesus Christ, rebuked, that is, scolded the disciples who would not allow children to come near. Jesus Christ took the children up in his arms and blessed them, and said that whosoever gave them even a cup of water should not go unrewarded. So, in the Bible also, the children were given importance. Jesus was very fond of children. In the same way, Joe wanted his wife to keep the poor motherless child for a single night, to be kind to her for a single night, and to make her life comfortable for a single night. After saying all this, Joe turned his head away because there was tears in his eyes. Mrs. Thompson did not say anything, but a soft feeling crept into her heart. Joe told her to look at the child and speak to her kindly, and to think of her dead mother, the loneliness, the pain, and the sorrow that must be on her all her coming life. Mrs. Thompson did not reply, but quietly went to the little room where Maggie was lying. Joe did not follow, as he felt that it would be best to leave her alone with the child. So he went to his shop near the house and worked till late evening. When Joe returned, he saw a light shining through the little room, which was a good sign. He paused outside the window of the room and looked in. He saw Maggie lying, a little raised, with the lamp shining upon her face. Mrs. Thompson was sitting near the bed with her back towards the window and talking to the child. Joe saw that Maggie's eyes were fixed upon his wife. Her expression was sad and tender, but he saw nothing of bitterness and pain. Joe went to the kitchen, and his heavy steps brought his wife to the kitchen. Joe thought it best not to speak about the child and just asked his wife how soon supper would be ready. Mrs. Thompson said that it would be ready soon, and she started preparing. That day there was no harshness in her voice. Usually she used to get annoyed or she used to talk rudely when her husband asked any such thing. But that day she spoke softly. After washing his hands and face, Joe went to the little bedroom. Maggie looked up at him tenderly, gratefully, and pleadingly. This shows that Maggie was really very grateful to Joe Thompson for bringing her there, and at the same time she was looking at him pleadingly, as if she was pleading that she should be kept there forever. Joe was happy, and for the first time he saw that she had an attractive face full of childish sweetness. Then he just started asking her questions. He came to know that her name was Maggie and she had been sick for a long time. And lately, the doctor had not been coming to see her. Maggie told Joe that she sometimes used to have pain, and that morning when he was carrying her home, then her side ached. That is, she had some pain on her side. When she was lifted or moved about, then also it hurt her. But she did not feel pains since she had been laid on that soft bed, which felt so good. She said all this with satisfaction and gratitude in her voice. After a while, Mrs. Thompson came to the room and said that supper was ready. And then she said that Maggie could wait until they had finished supper, and after that she would bring something for her to eat. Mrs. Thompson tried to show indifference towards Maggie, but her husband had already seen her talking to Maggie. He had seen how she had been talking to her continuously, and so he understood that his wife was just pretending to show that she was not concerned about Maggie. When they sat down to have supper, Joe waited for his wife to start the topic related to Maggie, but she kept silent. Joe also did not say anything for some minutes. Finally, Mrs. Thompson asked Joe what he was going to do with the child. Joe replied that she was to go to the poorhouse. Mrs. Thompson looked at her husband strangely, and after that they did not talk on that topic. After finishing supper, Mrs. Thompson toasted a slice of bread, softened it with milk and butter, and with a cup of tea went to Maggie. The hungry child ate with pleasure. When Mrs. Thompson asked her if it was good, then Maggie answered with a look of gratitude that awoke to new life old human feelings which had been slumbering, that is, which had been sleeping in her heart for half a score years, that is, for 10 years. She started feeling very motherly towards Maggie. The next morning, when Joe said that he would go and see the guardians of the poorhouse, then Mrs. Thompson told him that they should keep Maggie for a day or two longer, as she was so weak and helpless. Joe said to his wife that she would interfere with her work, but she said that she won't mind that for a day or two. Somehow, Mrs. Thompson wanted to keep Maggie for a longer time. So Joe did not see the guardians that day, the next day, nor on the day following. In fact, he never saw them at all, because in less than a week, Mrs. Thompson had become so fond of Maggie that she also would have gone to the poorhouse if Maggie was sent there. So in this way we come to know that both Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, they had started loving that child, and they wanted to keep her with them there only. Now in the last part we come to know how Maggie had changed the lives of Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. The sick and helpless Maggie had brought light and blessing to the home of Joe Thompson. It had been cold, dark, and miserable for a long time, because his wife had nothing to love or care for. She had become sore, irritable, ill-tempered, and was giving herself pain by forsaking her woman's motherly nature. But now the sweetness of that sick child, looking at her with love, patience, and gratitude, was like honey to her soul. Mrs. Thompson carried the child in her heart as well as in her arms, as she was a precious burden for her. As for Joe Thompson, he was the happiest man in the neighborhood, as now his home was not a dull and sad place. An angel had come to his house, disguised as a sick, helpless, and miserable child, and she had filled the dull chambers of his house with the sunshine of love. In this way, Maggie proved to be an angel in disguise who brought happiness in the life of the Thompsons. So, the title of the story is also suitable, that Maggie was really the angel in disguise. The theme of the story is that love can win over anything in this world. It has the power to change the nature of people. It can change even a cruel hearted and bitter person into a humble and kind person. It also stresses on the point that love and care is very important in everyone's life, even a sick child. So, this is the end of the story, children. Prepare this story for your exam, and I'll be sending a few solved extracts, but you will be solving the other extracts in your workbook, and prepare this well for your exam.